Yo, once again, it's on. Back at you one more again, Real Kens TV in the house like kitchen sinks. Sorry for the wait, but we are back this morning with part 2. Now, for you all that's not familiar, go back on my channel and watch the first video. Same title, same hashtags, same everything. This is just part 2. I am the self-proclaimed Mr. 30 Minutes or Better, just in case you didn't know. So anytime I drop a story or a video, it's guaranteed to be at least 30 minutes or longer. So if you're on your way to work, you're at work, you just don't feel like being there, payday's a week away, co-workers getting on your nerves, talking too much, your boss is, you just tune him out, her out, whatever the case may be, just totally tune that person out. You're on your way home from work, you need to laugh, you need to cry. You're trying to take a nap. You're trying to go to sleep at night, depending on whatever time you view or listen to this video. Or you just may be in a mood for a good old-fashioned true, keyword true, penitentiary/life story. Whatever the case may be, this is the channel for you. Now, with all that being said, there is a message. Yes, there's a message. There's a part 2 to this story that I've been wanting to bring you all for the longest. So you got Jason. He's in the pen now. He gets classified. He doesn't get classified to go to a low-level camp. No, he's with the gorillas, the goons, the lions, the tigers, the bears, the hyenas, if you will. So he's in the pen, you know, and it's a struggle. This is a struggle for him because, as I mentioned in the first video, Jason had never been in trouble before. No traffic tickets, no nothing. No weekend in the county jail, no spending the night, nothing. He was a law-abiding citizen. And so now he finds himself in a penitentiary around felons, man. You know, and that's not to say that felons are bad people, you know, but he's in a penitentiary amongst some of the, you know, he's in the jungle, the belly of the beast. He's having an awful hard time adapting. He doesn't really want to come out of his cell much. Because of what happened as far as the violence that took place, you know, with his case or what have you, he's not really allowed to contact his kids. He's unable to get visits from them. Now, you know, we all know that in prison there's cell phones, and Jason has some money. You know, Jason will be considered penitentiary rich. He was well off on the streets. Now, when I say well off, you know, he wasn't rich, you know, but he was okay. He made nice money. Took care of his money, you know, and invested it well. So, you know, he was okay. But in prison, he was considered penitentiary rich, meaning that anytime he goes to that window to buy something, or, you know, he wants to purchase something out of the magazines, rather it's shoes, clothing, or television, or whatever, CDs, or whatever he wanted to get at the time. Now, I know that we don't typically listen to CDs too much now, but back then they were still ordering CDs, if you will. He could order anything that he wanted to, and it was going to go through on that card. He stayed in his cell a whole lot. You know, he didn't really come out too much. And him and his cellie ended up getting cool. He had a cellie initially. That cellie ended up, I think, getting transferred or something like that. So they brought in another individual. The other individual that they brought in, you know, they were cool. You know, they didn't really know each other. But if you're in a cell with an individual, you know, over time, you're going to get acquainted with that person. You know, you all going to get to talking. And because, like in prison, they'll lock you down. They may have a lockdown. It may last for a couple of days. It may last for a week or two. You never know. So you're in a cell with this individual all day long. Not to mention that at nighttime when they lock the cell down, 10, 11 o'clock, you're in the cell with this person. Him and his cellie, they get cool. But Jason's doing everything that he can do. He's not really trying to get caught up in the whole penitentiary life. He's trying to sign up for school. He's trying to sign up, you know, for classes. Because when you take classes, you get good time. And that good time allows you to come home earlier. Trying to stay all the way out of the mix. He's not gambling, which gambling wasn't really his thing anyway. He's not playing any basketball. He's not arguing with anybody. He's just literally staying to himself. The thing about prison is that when you get cool with an individual, For instance, Jason and his celly became cool. Now his celly's problems become Jason's problems. Although Jason may feel as though, nah, I don't have anything to do with that. I'm staying away from it. This is your business. It just doesn't work that way in prison. Because when an individual, if they have a problem with the celly, guess what? They come in and you're in there, you subject to get it just as well. And that's what ended up happening in this particular situation. His celly loved to gamble. Could not keep him off the poker table. Poker, parlay slips, parlay tickets. And parlay tickets is just basically you betting on the NFL games or the basketball games, college football, whatever. And you may pick a team. Okay, I'll pick these 4 teams, And if these 4 teams win and they cover the spread, then you're going to get, on the streets, it's 10-1 odds. But in prison, I think they pay like 8-1 odds. If you pick 5 teams, they're going to give you 10-1 odds. If you pick 6 teams, they're going to give you 12, 15-1 odds. So, parlay tickets is something that's very, very, I don't necessarily want to say instrumental. I was about to say instrumental, but no, they're not instrumental, but they're popular. That's more of the appropriate word to use, popular, in prison yards. It's something to do. It helps you to get, past your time. Sporting seasons always helped me get past. Like when football season came, I knew the next 4 or 5 months was just going to fly by. And so, a lot of other individuals, that's how they operate just as well. So the celly, man, he's into playing poker all day long. And on a prison yard, you literally may sit at that poker table all day long. Yeah, you'll have to, pause the game for a couple times for count throughout the day. But especially like in the summertime, man, you playing poker all day on the yard if you choose to do so. Or you may be playing in the gym. Whatever the case may be, he got into debt. His celly got into bid debt. So now he owes all of this money out, and in prison, you're waiting on your money to arrive. His money was good, and people knew that his money was good, but for whatever reason, his money kind of got funny. Everybody's money get a little funny from time to time. If your money gets a little funny from time to time, or if your money has got a little funny from time to time, type it in the comments. Rock with me, man. Don't be afraid. Everybody's money get a little funny, man. Sip my tea. I need my pinky ring on. So his money's getting a little funny. He's telling the individual that he owes all of this money to Midnight. Big Midnight. Big Midnight was about 6'3", probably 230. Big dude, cut up dude, black dude, long dreads. They weren't long, but nice size drawing. He was just a black dude, man. Midnight, that was his nickname, Midnight. He's telling Midnight, man, I got your money, man. Just give me a little time. Well, see, in prison, it's way different from out here on the streets. When I say that, meaning that, okay, on the streets, if you owe a bill, if you owe something, you may be able to call that institution up, or, hey, I'm running a little late or what have you. They may hit you with a little interest for being late, especially them darn credit cards. But it's not an amount that's over the top. In prison, let's just say you owe $40. You owe $40, man. If it's not here by Friday, now that 40 may turn into 50. That 40 may turn into 60. Just depends on who you dealing with. Midnight, man, he was a reasonable dude, but he was about his money just as well. That in Kentucky prisons, it's not really shot callers. Yeah, you have people that have popularity. You have people that have runners, goons. Hey, go do this. Hey, I need you to go collect that. Things of that nature. But you don't really have a true shot caller. Now, when I say a true shot caller, and that's no disrespect to anybody. A true shot caller is somebody that you have to go through. So if you want to make a move or something like that on the yard, you want to make a play, or you trying to get back at somebody and you trying to push that blade or something like that on somebody, it has to be cleared through that individual. You can't just go up and do that because you don't know the play. You don't know the business transactions and the business that this shot caller really has going. So if something were to happen and the yard gets put on lockdown for like a week, guess what? You may have messed up his money, his business, his thing that he had going. So guess what? Now you owe me. Now, if you can't pay this debt, are you going to pay? Oh, yeah, you're going to pay one way or another. So that's the difference between actual shot callers and just people that, you know, have a little clout. Midnight has some clout. He probably had, you know, 12, 15 soldiers underneath him. Plus, he was the parlay man. So being the parlay man, and he had a store, you know, you come to me, you need 2 noodles, I need 3 back. You need, you know, 2 Mountain Dews, 2 Pepsis or whatever, I need 3 back, and so forth. If you need 3, I need 5 back. You know, he operated a legitimate, I'm not going to call it a legitimate, but he operated a business in prison, and he was cool. Never went to the chow hall. He ate out of his locker, meaning that anything that he ate, he fixed it out of his locker. In prison, oftentimes what they'll do is, there's all type of ways for you to spend your money. So people say, oh, man, you in prison, you got it made. First of all, you got to have money in prison to eat well. But you may have, they may offer like steak and potato and a salad on a Monday. They'll charge you about $25, $30 for it. But if you got money, hey, you know, it ain't tricking if you got it. That's what they say. But who don't want that in prison? So he may buy 2 meals. You see what I'm saying? Then on Wednesday, they may have, I don't know, they may have a pizza. Or they may order out, you know, different pizza companies, restaurants, or what have you in the area. So you can buy a pizza. Then on Friday, they may offer something. They may offer chicken. They may offer, you know, just whatever. So you're buying 3 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week, if you got the money to do so. Then you go in the commissary. So he's eating very, very well. For whatever reason, man, dudes, I don't know exactly what the case was, but his money just never came. After about a month, Midnight sends his hitters, his soldiers. His soldiers run in on the cell, run in the cell. They take everything. They take all the dude's stuff. And they also take Jason's stuff. Hold on, man. I ain't got nothing to do with this, man. Oh, hold up, man. There's no voice of reasoning in prison. You can't tell an individual. You can try. You know what I'm saying? When you get knocked all upside your head. Hold on, man. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Hold on, man. Hold on. Stop, please. Hey, ho. You in penitentiary, man. So if the celly's gonna get it, guess what? We might as well get your stuff just as well. Well, Jason, you know, he wasn't no punk or nothing like that. Even though he's in prison, he's in a unfamiliar territory, if you will. He's far from a punk. But at the same time, when you got goons in there and they got weapons, what are you gonna do? They take Jason's commissary. They take all of his stuff. Jason's heated. He's heated. He's mad at his celly. But at the same time, he really can't totally be mad at his celly, because his celly, he caused this by being into debt. But at the same time, it's like, is it really his fault? Did he make them come in here and do this? On top of all of that, he's dealing with the outside world. He's dealing with the fact that he's in prison. He made a terrible mistake. He's not trying to blame his son. He had went up for parole. The parole board gave him a 24-month setback, meaning we're not letting you out right now. Come back in 24 months and you'll have an opportunity to get out. In prison, they have what's called legal aids. Now, in different states, they may call it something different. But in, you know, Kentucky, they call it legal aids. A legal aid goes to training for, I believe, 6 to 8 weeks. And basically, they learn about the laws as far as the laws of prison. You know, the handbook that they give you, what an officer can and can't do, which is straight up BS because they do what they want to do. How to file grievances, how to just follow the chains of command, because when an inmate catches a write-up, he goes to what's called court call. When you go to court call, your the accusation, the charges, it's like court on the streets. It's read, you know, before you. Inmate Jason, you're accused of X, Y, and Z. So you have your legal aid, which is an inmate, to act as though he's your attorney. And he's reading of, okay, according to this, according to the handbook, according to this code, this was unlawful for you all to do, you know, X, Y, and Z, or what have you. And believe it or not, sometimes you do win in court call, but oftentimes you're going to lose, and you're going to lose bad. Typically, you're going to end up going to the hole when you leave court call, because you know, you're going to lose. That's just what it is. Every blue moon, like I said, you might win.